What's up? I'm Kelly Hart, and today I'm here to review my Give Me My Money Chico LRG part. So first off, this whole video is based off of me and Adelmo, and actually the whole team betting against Chico on certain tricks that we would try during the whole process of filming for the video. And the funny part was, like, the opening of the part is like, we didn't know how the video was gonna be. We never saw any of the editing. They just interviewed us and asked us questions. We're like, okay, you just interviewed me about betting Chico and random things. And then at the end, when I went to the premiere, it was like, oh, it all makes sense. He bets me on every single thing that I do, pretty much.
I love taking money from that guy.
This one clip right here is, we're in Australia, and he was betting. It was like probably the first time we started really betting each other. He's like, I bet you can't do it right here, the 360 flip. And then I did it, and I won like 20 bucks, which I still don't even know if he gave me the money or not.
Kelly, I know you. You can't do it.
We didn't know that Frank Gerwer was going to be dressed up or having Adelmo's dreads over him. The most amazing part about this is that Frank is sitting on a ledge, and then right above it, cropped out of it, is Adelmo laying down. And so that's actually Adelmo's hair, but it's just over Frank's head, which is hilarious. Yeah, in this interview, they're asking me about the $100 that I bet Chico on, and that was the nollie back nose grind big spin. That's gonna be popping up here in a second. He bet me $100, and we were like drinking and like having a good time at dinner the night before, and then I was like, I'm gonna do nollie back nose grind big spin. And he was like, you definitely don't got that. And he would like do that just to like hype you up, like try to get under your skin, but also like encourage you to like work hard and try to get your trick. I try it, and I came so close. I tried it for like 4 hours, and I land on it, and I'm like dead. I think it was so hot. It's in China. The lit spot's amazing. I was dead, and I couldn't move anymore. I just sweated through like 3 shirts. And then this intro, it's funny, like me bombing a hill. That's probably the only footage you'll ever see me bombing a hill, and I'm doing it switch. I remember going to the premiere and watching this and seeing it pop up. I remember I was skating this song by the Mighty Lovers, Ain't Gonna Run No More. And I remember it took me a long time to figure out that I was gonna use that song. And then I finally, like, I was like super stoked, and this weird song comes on. I'm like, what? They didn't tell me they changed the song? I was like really, really like, for like literally like 5 seconds, I was like, what am I about to watch right now? And then right when the parts like pops off, the switch front slip up and I land and the song goes, I was like, oh, thank God. I mean, this spot's insane, dude. This perfect out ledge in China. It's like off of Forest there. It's in this plaza. It's marble. It's so perfect. And we went to that spot a lot. I was just psyched on skating that thing and trying to grind the whole thing. Yeah, this spot was actually a spot. It's in Laguna. It's still there, but it's all chunked up because they knobbed it so many times. It's in Laguna Beach on top of this hill. And I remember going there at like 2 in the morning with my friend, and we had bondoed the cracks on both sides. And then that was like a hot spot. I would go there. It was like one of the only spots in Laguna that was like, people were going from all over to skate this ledge. I remember I did that switch tail, switch front side, or switch flip out before. I'd randomly done it just out of nowhere. And I was with a bunch of people skating there one day, and I just did the trick, and there was no one filming. And I got the sequence though. And then I went back and did it again. And I wasn't coming close at it for some reason, and then out of nowhere, I just did that one. I still kind of don't even like the way I landed it, to be honest, because it's like almost pre-mode. This run was at Earl Warren, I think it is, but they built this new setup. There was a 4-up, and then you can go over a block, and it drops on the other side. And I went there one day with like Russell Houghton. Is that his name? Houghton or Houghton? Sorry, Russell. Love you, dude. He was amazing. He is an amazing filmer. We went there filming one day, and I kind of had this idea of doing a trick over it, and it just worked. This worked out. This line right here, I flew to Barcelona. I had a layover, and I got my own flight. First time ever like booking a flight like somewhere on my own. Like I usually would have the companies book the flights for me, but I just bought my own ticket and went out there. I remember flying out there, having to stay at JFK, not realizing like, oh, the layover is going to be for 9 hours, and I didn't even look at that. So I get there and I have to chill at JFK for 9 hours, and it's freezing. I slept there for a while, and then I got in the plane, flew straight to Barcelona, got off, threw my bags at Anthony Lopez's house, and then met up with Alan Hannon. Shout out to Alan, another amazing filmer, still doing it. Met up with him for the first time ever meeting him, and we tried this line for maybe 5 hours. The second part, the switch heel mail switch flip, I think that might have been one of the last tries possible, because it's really dark right there, and the lights are on, and I just somehow landed like one of the last tries I possibly could. So if you watch the footage after I land, I'm like, he was like, yes, dude, that was fucking it. It's amazing when you try a trick or a line for so long and you think it's never gonna happen, and then you end up, and I was super stoked how it came out. So thank you, Alan, for that. Thank you, Trey, thank you, Manny. I just learned that trick at the barracks. I went here one day with Winkle, amazing, another great filmer in Barcelona, funny ass dude. But we had just went there one day and I had the idea to try it and I just did it and I was super stoked. This switch flips in San Diego. I used to live down there for a while, and it's like at this abandoned car lot. They built like this perfect bush gap, and it was kind of a hot spot for a while. It was in right off the freeway in PB. Super sick. I was super hyped how I landed it. I might have gone through the bushes a little bit, but I was super hyped on that. Anthony Williams, I think he was filming. He was pressing record on the other camera, and I think he missed it. And I was like, I don't care. I felt so good, and Russell got it, so I don't even care. The nollie aerial flips, it's in Seattle. It's like seriously probably the most crustiest spot I've ever skated. And even my friends were like, wow, that's not like you to skate a spot like that. Like, that ground is ass. It took me a while to do it. I had to do it twice, actually. I did this one, and I don't know, I landed it, I just worked out. But then I had to do it again for a sequence. Even though I think he got it right there, I just remember doing it again. I have a double page spread in Thrasher doing that sequence, or doing that trick. Shout out to Joe Brook. And Anthony Claraval filmed most of this, so shout out to Anthony Claraval, Eric Lazar, and Kyle for editing it. Man, it's awesome. I was happy to be a part of it, and still be a part of it to this day. This gap right here is at UCSD. That's where Walker Ryan went to school, and he would just go to school all day and just find spots. And he would film there. He'd film video parts and go to school. He was incredible. I don't know how he did that. So I was super hyped to hard flip it, and I remember battling it, and then that one just worked out, and I was just super hyped. This spot, it was probably the most seen San Diego spot of all time. It's at Torrey Pines. I think it's high school. I remember I did this trick, and initially I did it where it was just the bricks. For some reason, they put this perfect cement down it and made the spot even better. Because the bricks were cool, I guess, but like they made a spot that we all skated, and then they made it even better. So thanks to the school for that one. This spot in Barcelona is really, really dope. It's like literally on the beach. I think I was drinking beers and was relaxing by the beach that day, and then we chilled there for like a couple hours and then went to this spot, and I ended up filming this line right here. I do remember that hitting this corner right here, Claraval, his arm was like super in the shot to the left, or like the upper left-hand corner, and Dave Comey's wife ended up editing the whole arm out of the shot, which is amazing to do that. So shout out to his wife for that one. That was awesome. And the switch front 360, I was like let's just try it, and I just did it. I'm not really good at fakie flips out of manuals. This might be one of the only ones I've really done. This day that I did this might have been the most clips in the streets I've ever gotten in one day. I think I got 3 clips this one day. It was this one, I tray flipped this gap. I think it was the same day that I fakie 5-0'd that ledge, to be honest. This spot's in Macau. It is literally perfect. It is one of the coolest spots you ever go to. But you just drop in and you go right back up and you do a trick off of it and land on this other like bank thing. And it's just a freaking rad spot. I did an ollie Bixman heel flip when I went back another time, and I was like, cool, I'll use that for something, whatever. And then Chico went there one day, and I think I didn't go out skating that day. I just like chilled because I was like super burnt out. And he filmed that same nollie Bixman heel flip and used it in his part. And I was like, oh, that's all good. I got my clip, so I'm stoked. I remember being super hyped on getting this clip because I had just learned Switchtail 270. And I kept thinking that would be a rad spot to do it at. I have the weirdest setup right there. I have like a purple LRG polo shirt on, and then I have like this beanie that I just randomly bought in China because I went to get my head shaved, and this dude just gave me this crazy haircut where it was like super short on the sides and then long on top. I just looked like it just did not look right on me. Tried to tell him, and then I was just like, hey, just shave it all off. So I went down to like a one clip, and Shannon kept calling me Lex Luthor. And then I found one random like brown tan colored beanie. And I was like, I'm just gonna buy this and hopefully this works. So it looked like I was bald for sure. I remember that this spot really giving me a hard time because I wasn't that good at like bumps. It's not really that big of a bump, but like I went there a few times to battle it. And then this one time, just like that one try, you're like, all right, just stick it, dude. And I have a pretty big commitment issue on like landing tricks. I'd like hurting myself so many times, but I ended up working out. It was an LRG ad, so I was stoked on that. The welfare banks, it's in DC. That thing was tall. It was full on like a tall bench. Not trying to give myself credit or anything. I was just stoked to do it on that. It's OG spot, and that was really tough to do. But this spot, I was super psyched on this. Shout out to Brad Rosado for filming it. This spot is literally the most incredible spot in the planet. We call it the horse ledges because it was like a horse like monument thing above. They just built out this crazy plaza with like these uphill curved ledges, and you could skate the spot into the bank, and like there was a ledge that went up it and down it. And I had never really seen anyone skate it like this. And that thing was somewhat tall on the side that I'm popping over, but that ground was just really, really dirty. It doesn't look that dirty right there, but it was pretty gross, to be honest. It was fun. That one took me a while. Shout out to Carl Watson for always like, we always say like, oh, I'm your support system. Like we'd always say that to each other, like as a joke, but like, yeah, we really were like, we're there for each other when we're battling tricks, and Carl's just like a great human being and he just wants to see his friend succeed. So that was really cool. I remember him being super hyped. You can see him in the background, like, yes. This spot's in downtown LA. I was trying to find a spot to do that on. And I think when I was, filming back then, I always get super, like, I would just think about, okay, now I want to heel flip. Where could I do that? Where could I do that? And then this spot, like, I saw it in the video. I was like, oh, that would be rad. This spot right here was in San Diego. It was like a random train stop, I think. It was a hot spot, and you'd go there, you'd see a lot of people there. Like that day in the background, Peter Smokes in the background, Dan Connolly. It was like Skate Mafia guys were there. And I had gone and tried this a few times, and that spot was weird because you could tell in the footage, it kind of sprung you off at the end of it. Super janky. It was just kind of funny that like skaters actually got this ladder and then like propped it up with all the stuff on it so it wouldn't move. And it was like pretty perfect, to be honest. But it was sketchy, and it was off a loading dock, so at the end it was like a pretty tall drop. I didn't want to do it as a single for whatever reason. When you do a flip trick before like the one trick you want to do, it kind of just gets you in the rhythm. So like I did the switch flip and it felt good. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stick this one. This might be the randomest clip I think I've ever done in my life, to be honest. It's tail slide big spin, or whatever you want to call it. Tail slide shove it, tail slide 270 shove. That's in somewhere in Australia. I can't remember where it was. I was on an LRG trip, and we were there one night. I remember it was the first time I drank Red Bull, and I was fired up. And then I was just like, all right, let's just figure something out. And I kept doing tail slides on it, and I was like, kickflip out. I don't think I've ever done a regular tail slide kickflip. That trick doesn't work for me. I don't know why. And then I just started fucking around with this, and yeah, it just worked out. That's the only time I've ever done that trick. Damn, I can't, that's weird. I totally forgot about that trick. This clip is at EG in San Diego. It's a famous spot back in the day. I remember doing that too, and my friend Matt Daughters was like, I think he shot a photo, maybe he was sitting in the back right there. But when I did it, it felt like I did a switch frontside flip, and it felt like I landed primo, and then like it just landed it perfect. And even Daughters was like, yo, you wanna do that over? Like it looked like you premoed it, and then like it got back in, and we watched it, and it looked totally fine. And I was like, what? Like, I thought like I had to do that trick again. And you watch it, and it doesn't even look like that at all. So I was like, that was weird. This spot was a random spot in Sacramento that was a hot spot for a quick second. I think someone just propped up that ramp to go over the rail. And I was, for some reason, I was terrified of it. A long time ago, there was a spot in San Diego where I just like flew, I was charging at it, and right before, like you can't stop and you have to keep going, I stopped and I flew into the rail. And I literally, it was the first time where I ever like saw like stars. When I was like, whoa, I just hit this, I was just like kind of fucked up. And so I've always been kind of scared of it, stuff like that ever since. For some reason, I would catch it and kick it out, kick it out, kick it out. And then this one, I just like was all right, I'm doing it. And then you kind of black out for a second and then you just do it. When I film tricks, people are like, dude, you had it the whole time, man. You just couldn't make yourself commit. And like, you had it literally the same way every time. You catch it and kick it out, catch it, kick it out. And then those certain times something clicks in your head and you just like keep going and you roll away. This spot is a perfect 8-stair rail in the middle of nowhere outside of Atlanta. It's an abandoned school. I'd seen Justin Brock skate it in the video, and I think it's Matt Swinsky. It's out in Atlanta. He's in the clip down there filming, and Matt Daughters shooting the sequence, which this was LRG at as well. Me and Wade DeSarmo and Jack Curtin skated that day together. It's so weird. I've done 3 nollie heel flip nose slides on 8-stair handrails. I was having a hard time doing that, but then I wasn't really too hyped on the way I rolled away, but at the same time, it wasn't bad, and I was thinking too much, and I was so tired from trying it so much that I took that one. But I mean, it came out, I'm psyched the way it came out. This spot right here is in downtown San Diego. It's at this Hyatt on the water right there. And you have to, there's no other way to get around it except for one way. You have to skate across the hotel in front of it so the guards can see you, and it's in the corner. So if you get past security guards, which is tough a little bit, you kind of there's sometimes might be people, so you can maybe blend in, and then you have to walk super far back into the corner, and then you have to prop open the door to the pool right there. Like I said, I had commitment issues on landing things, and I would always try to bet people. Kenny Hoyle called, and I'm betting him, yo, if I'll do it right here, for you, Kenny, I got you right here, I'll owe you $5 if I don't stick it right here. And it took me a couple tries, but I ended up doing it, and I was so hyped in the way I did it. Because it just one of those things you black out and you just do it. The feeling of relief of not dealing with security guards after, and just being able to get out of there and getting the clip without getting in trouble was so rad. But then you can just hear it, and then it's really quiet, and then I think he turns to the camera and Kenny's like, was that it? Cause and he's like, yeah, he did it. And that was fun, man. Thanks, Kenny. Shout out to Kenny Hoyle, dude. These 2 clips, this is that Horse Plaza spot, and I do front 5-0 kickflip, only time I've ever done this trick. This was maybe a year later we went back. Again, this is the only time I've ever done that trick, the switch 5-0 switch flip. But I remember filming this for couple hours. I would say it's 3 or 4 hours maybe. But for some reason, I don't know why I thought this. I'm not stopping to get water until I landed. And I was and then looking back at it, I'm that is the dumbest thing because I needed water. I was sweating and I needed to hydrate myself. My foot is kind of in this weird position, but it was perfect to give the leverage more on the toe side so I could flip out with the switch flip. And then one time, man, it just worked out. I was so happy. I remember I landed that and Chico had gotten some weird pig balloon thing. I don't know why he got it, but he's yo, here you go. There's a photo of me with this pig balloon after super hyped and just so tired. That night, me and Chico were rooming together, and that pig balloon that he had in there, or that he got me, I brought it back to the hotel, and he had woken up in the middle of the night, and that pig balloon was right above him, and he got fucking he's what the fuck, and he hit it, and he was all pissed. He's that fucking pig balloon scared the shit out of me. That was pretty much it on filming for this video. So that was really fun. It's kind of cool to look back at it and kind of remember these stories. It's something I'm really proud of and super fun to do. And looking back on it, it's funny to oh yeah, it's the only time I've done that trick. I was hyped we did this video, and thanks to everyone who helped make that happen. So everyone at LRG, thank you very much for watching. Go skate, have fun, and go buy some LRG clothes. Thank you.